Hello once again, our most valued student. My name is Confident and welcome to our continuation. We are still revising this paper, November 2022, grade 9. This is part 2 and this is the mathematics paper 1. As we said, it is a 1.5 paper, 75 marks, and you guys, if you manage to get hold of the first part where I emphasized, just in summary, I emphasized these rules to say you need to show your working as well as rounding off. All right, and then we did our section A, multiple choice, and I showed you some of the strategies you can use to do that. And then we went on to do, this is still the multiple choice, we went on to do section B. All right, and then these were structured questions, and we did all this. So you grab hold of the previous video so that you can be able to see all the solutions and some strategies and some errors to avoid in order for you to get that distinction that you're looking for. Okay, now we are looking at question number 5. So if you are interested in getting a distinction or a very good mark, a mark that will make your teachers and your parents smile, you need to ensure that you watch this video until the end. All right, question 5. What is question 5 saying here? It is saying a friend created a pattern using squares. So these are number patterns. In the first arrangement, she used 2 squares. In the second arrangement, 5 squares. In the third, she used 8 squares as shown below. So you can see that first, second, third. And then they are saying here, study the pattern carefully. Study the pattern carefully and extend it by drawing a sketch showing how the squares will be arranged in the 6th. Be careful there, not in the next, in the 6th pattern. So what you can do here, I think you can see what we have first is like our T1, that's term 1. Okay, second we're gonna call it our T2, and third we're gonna call it our T3. Are you with me? So in a way, let me show you what I have here. I have like this. We have got T1, you have got T2, you have got T3. And then they told us the squares, it was 2, 5, 8. Remember, 2, okay, they're saying in the first arrangement is 2 squares, then 5 squares, and then 8 squares. So what you have here is your 2, your 5, and your 8. So that's what I'm gonna have here on my T. So what I have is my 2, let me drag it like this, I think it will be much better. So I've got here my 2, my 5, and my what? And my 8. So they are saying you have T4, you have T5, and then they want this. This is what they want, T6. Are you with me? So in a way, what you do is you look at it and say, from T1 to T2, what am I adding? Here, from T2 to T3, what are you adding? You subtract. If you say 5 minus 2, you see that there is a 3, which means you are saying 2 plus 3 is equal to 5. And then again here, you add the same number. Here, 5 plus 3 is equal to 8. So which means we have a consistent number that we're adding, which is what? Which is 3. So we know what we're going to have at T4, which is 8 plus 3. We're going to have 11. We continue adding 3, which is now 11 plus 3. What do you get? 11 plus 3, you get 14. We continue to add this constant 3. Now we're at T6, the number that we want, which is 14 plus 3, which is 17. So this is what we're looking at, 17. And they are saying here, draw the 6th pattern. And you can see that the 6th pattern has got 17 squares. Remember, these are squares. So the question now is, how do you go about drawing those? You need to be just clever here. Look at how they were drawing them. So now you have got, okay, T1, you've got 2. Now T2 has got one of this. Look at this. It's T2, but it has got one. It's T3, but it has got 1, 2, which means it is one less. If it was T4, you're going to have like this. Okay, you're going to have it like this. If it was T4, you're going to have it 1 like this. You see, you're going to have how many? 1, 2, 3. Now, since we want here, the question says we need to find what? T6 or sixth pattern, T6. So we have how many? We have 5 of these. So what you do, you draw them like this. I hope this is making sense. So we have 5. Let me try to utilize the whole space here. So this is what you have. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is like this. I think it's fine. So we have got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, it's one less. If it's 6, it's one less. If it was second, it was 1. If it was third, it's 2. So you see that. And then you have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So all of them have got 3. So you come here and you continue to say 1, 2, 3 like this. And then what else does it have? It has got this part, and then it's got this part. So you continue here and extend that to this part here, and you extend that to this part here. Alright, and then you count in a way how many squares. It must be 17 squares. So we've got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. That's what we got. Remember, we said we need what? 17 squares. So this was the sixth pattern. And then they're saying use the table below to determine the algebraic formula. Tn is equal to relating to the number of squares in the pattern number. So now whenever you are looking at this, again, I'm going to be doing it from here. Let me work it from here to say number pattern. I'll try to be quicker because of time. So let's work it like this to say here, because I just want to show you how you come with these formulas so that you don't struggle. Okay, so in here you see you've got your T1, your T2. We can continue putting others here. I think we've seen. So here the way they put it, they said what? Pattern number 1. So they are using 1, which is in our way. We can call this our T1, our T2, our T3, our T4. We can continue T5, T6. You can continue that. But they are saying this is 1, 2, 3. So if you continue, that will be 4, that will be 5, that will be 6. You see what I'm saying? And then they had 2, and then 5, and then 8, and then you remember what we said. We said 8 plus 3, 8, 11, 14, and 17. You can just do that. So this is you can label that, you can label that. Now I want to show you something now. Then they are saying here we want the Tn. So I want to show you something to say. If I was talking about T1, now with T1 I have got what? 2 here. You see that? So for me to get 2, there was a consistent number. Remember here, that number was 3. There was a consistent number here. That number was 3. That number was 3. Remember that? So now to find our T1 here, we are going to take that 3 and say 3. Now look at this. Now how can I get this 2? because the aim is to get that 2. So if I can say 3 times 0, are you getting that? 3 times 0 plus 2, I will get what? I will get 2. You know, because I'm starting, this is 1. In a way, if I can use it like this, to say, let me actually use it like this. Let me not say 0. Remember, it's T1. If I say 3, 1 minus 1 plus 2. But what is 1 minus 1? This is 0. And then T2 is equal to 3. Because I'm at 2, I can say 2 minus 1. And you know what is 2 minus 1 is 1 plus 2. So here I will get 2. You can check with the calculator. Here I will get 5. Now look at this. T3 is equal to, remember where I'm getting the 3 from. This is where I'm getting the 3 from. Where am I getting the 2 from? This is where I'm getting the 2 from. So you focus on that. T1. This is your T1. Right. Where was I getting 1? This was where I was getting 1. 1 minus 1. 2 minus 1. Are you seeing that? I hope you are seeing that. Now T3 will be 3. And then it will be 3 because I'm talking about 3 now. 3 minus 1 plus what? Plus 2. Which is equal to? Which is equal to 8. You can continue further. This thing can continue further. And then you can have your T4, which will be equal to what? 3 doesn't change. And then 4 minus 1 plus what? Plus 2. And which is equal to what? 4 minus 1 is 3. 3 times 3, 9. 9, 10, 11. So this is what you are having. Now pay attention now. To get your answer, we can say Tn is equal to, you see when we had 3, that was not changing. But if it was 4, we had 4. If it was 3, we had 3. So which means bracket, now we will have n minus 1 plus 2. See that? But now we are forced to what? To simplify this. You can leave your answer like that. They will mark you correct. This is correct. 2 marks. But you can continue to say 3 can go here. You open that bracket. 3 can go there. And when you do that, it will be equal to 3 times n, and then plus 3 times minus 1 plus 2, which will be 3n minus 3 plus 2. And then what is your Tn? My Tn will be 3n minus 3 plus 2 is minus 1. That becomes the option 2, which is preferred. This is the preferred option. Are you with me? So that is how you can actually use it here. Here, you see, to say Tn here is equal to, but remember, you need to show all the working that I was showing there. You don't have to do this because they have already drawn it for us. You don't have to do this. You can just extend it a bit, but you need to show us this. That's what they're looking for. You need to show us this part. And then further, you need to show us this part. Alright. And then at the end, you can conclude to say Tn is equal to 3n minus 1. Are you with me? So that is that part. Let's move on to the next one. It says here, the next question, it says use the formula in question 5.1.2. So it's continuing that formula. Remember, the formula is what? Tn is equal to 3n minus 1. Or you can use that top formula to determine the pattern number if they are 101 squares. So how many squares here is 101? Now let me take you back. If you remember, these here were number of squares. Where is it? Number of squares, Tn. So these were number of squares here. Number of squares. Still remember this one. It was number of squares. So now they are telling us that, and this was our what? The number of squares was our Tn. Are you seeing that? It was our Tn. And then they're saying use the formula. Use that formula to determine the pattern number if there are 101 squares. So here your Tn is equal to 101. Are you seeing that? So you work it like this. You say Tn is equal to 3n minus 1. But we know our Tn. What is our Tn? 101. So 101 is equal to 3n minus 1. Now these are equations. How do you solve it? You look at this minus 1, it can cross the equal sign to join that. So it is negative, it will become positive. So it will be 101 plus 1. Remember, it's negative, it jumps the equal sign, it becomes what? Positive. Is equal to 3n. Okay, so now what is 101 plus 1? This is 102 is equal to 3n. Now 3n is same as saying 3 times n. That is 3n. Now how do you separate 3 from n? Don't do this to say it will come to the side. To say it's positive, it will become negative. No, you can't do that. Why? Because there is a times. So what you do when there is a multiplication, you ask yourself, what 3n, remember is same as 3 times n. What is the opposite, or what is the what's the opposite of times? It's divided. What's the opposite of plus? It's minus. So here, that's why we had a negative. The opposite of negative is positive when you jump the equal sign. Now the opposite of times is divided. In this case, we divide. So you divide by that number 3. Even here, we divide by 3. So that n can remain alone. That's how we do this. So you have equal to n. So you take a calculator to say 3 into 10, it's 3. Remember 1, 3 into 12, it's 4. But check with the calculator. So there it is. N is equal to 34. Or you can say therefore n is equal to 34. It's always good to read it like that. So guys, I hope this makes sense. Alright, so don't be confused. It's not really something that you can confuse yourself with this equation, but you need practice. Alright, 5.2. Given y is equal to 8x minus 3 and x is an element of minus 2 minus 1, 0, 1, 2. Fill in the input values, there it is, input values, and the rule in the flow diagram. So the rule, so we need input values, we need the rule in the flow diagram. Hence determine the corresponding output values. So 3 things. So we know already the rule. They gave us the rule here to say y is equal to 8x. This is the rule that you put there, minus 3. Alright, and then the input are here. When you talk about the input values, you are here. This is input. In other ways, this is your x. And then this is output. So this is your y values. Are you with me? So input, they gave us minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, and 2. Right. And then the output values now, these are the numbers you get. And obviously, just rely on the calculator. So I'm just going to try to use maybe, let's start with this. You say 8. Now where there is x, that's where you start putting minus 2, minus 1, 0, 1, 2. You put a bracket. Where there is x, you start with minus 2. Close the bracket. And then it's 8x minus 3. Okay, you start with the first one. It's minus 19. You play back. Don't forget the answer. It was minus 19. Put negative 1. From minus 19, it's minus 11. Let's not forget those numbers. Minus 19, minus 11. Let's put now what? 0. 0. It's minus 3. So it's minus 19, minus 11, minus 3. Let's not forget these numbers. Minus 19, minus 11, minus 3. So what's the next one there? It's a 1. It's a 5. So it's minus 19, minus 11, minus 3, 5. I hope I'll remember this. Now let's put 2, 5, and 13. 5 and 13. Let's write those numbers. It was what? Minus 19, minus, was it 11? I'll check. Minus 3, this was 0, and then 5 and 13. I think I need to correct this one for when we put a 2 here. I think it was when we put a negative 1 here. This is minus, that is correct, so it's fine there. And then 0, and then you put a 2, 16 minus 3, 16 minus 3, that, and then you put a 1. This is correct, so this is all they needed. But you can cross check again. You saw what I was using with the calculator. Guys, 5 marks. So always remember, input is always X, and then output is always Y. This is output. Alright, so don't get yourself confused on that one. Alright, so let's move on. We're just finishing this up. It's not going to be long. I think a few left. It says, given the expression that, what is the coefficient? This is an expression. What is the coefficient? There is the keyword. Coefficient of X in the expression. So you focus on X. Ask yourself, is that X? No, this is X cubed. Let me jump the second one. Is this X? No, this is X squared. So there is X. So let's expand it a bit. So if they say the coefficient of 3, now X, and then Y cubed, the coefficient of X. So what they are saying is, go and remove that X. What is remaining is the coefficient of X. So what is it? It's 3Y cubed. Had they said the coefficient of what? If they say the coefficient of 2x cubed is here, 2x cubed y. If they say the coefficient of 2x cubed y, do the same thing. You come here and say, okay, by coefficient, I will remove that x cubed. And what we have? We have got 2y. So let not that confuse you. It's not something complicated. Alright, you saw the strategy. Now the next one says, write down the expression in what? Descending powers of x. Now there is another word. In the previous one they said ascending, and I told you and I showed you what to do when they say ascending. Now what is to descend? Descend means go down the steps. This is to descend. You see, so it's someone who's coming down. So you're starting from higher powers to smaller powers. So they're saying, but you're focusing on what? On x. So you start with the highest power of x. Here we have got x cubed. Then we've got that will be number 1. Then after that we've got x squared, that will be number 2. And then we've got x, that will be number 3. That is focused on x. So it will be 2x cubed y, right, plus 5x squared, then plus 3x y cubed. Forget about y. Don't look at y. Focus on x. That is the descending. All right. 6.2. Simplify the following. Simplify fully, and they give you that. Guys, you just need to know how to expand. This is expansion. So what we have got x plus y. Okay, let me do it this side. It's 3 marks, you see. So what we have, you have x plus y, and then they say here squared. Now don't be tempted with what other people do. They take this and say this one is equal to x squared plus this becomes y squared. You are very wrong. Be careful, eh? Be careful. Don't do that. So let's do the right thing. X plus y squared is equal to, is 2 of them. It means you have got x plus y, the first one, then open another bracket, again you've got x plus y. That's what it means. Okay, my boy. Okay, my girl. That's what it means. Now next one, you need to expand. If you remind yourself from school, this one, that's the first one. You use the FOIL method. FOIL. Okay, remember that when they say it, FOIL, that multiplies. That's number 1. Number 2, that x multiplies there. So this is 1, this is 2. Number 3, this multiplies. That's number 3. And then number 4, this multiplies, and then you simplify. So let's do that. What we have here is equal to x times x is what? X squared. You can even write it like this, to say I'm multiplying x times x, I'm just making it long, and then plus x times y. X times y plus y times x is same as x times y. You just follow the alphabetical order. It's x times y plus y times y, which is y times y. I'm just showing you this was not necessary. This was not necessary. You can avoid this. Now x times x, what do you get? It's x squared, right? X times y plus xy plus xy plus what? Y squared. Then you can look at it. There is something similar. Xy, xy. There is a 1 there. There is a 1. Forget about this xy, xy. It means they are like terms. But you are focusing on 1 xy and 1 xy. So if you forget about this, 1 plus 1 is what? It's what? What is 1 plus 1? It's 2. So you've got x squared plus 2 of this same thing, which is 2 of xy. Okay. Then plus y squared. And then that's the expansion that they wanted. And then here, you are writing it like that. But don't forget to put that formula here. It's x squared. I mean, write everything here. Remember, I told you everything to do there. So it's x squared plus 2xy plus y squared. How many marks? It gives you 3 marks. It's not really bad. It's not bad. It's not bad. Now we are looking at 6.2.2. Very interesting. And I want you to look at the mark allocation. 6 marks. Do you want to lose these marks? That's why I say this is an important part now. You don't want to lose these 6 marks. So let's do this. Let's remove this and look at how you can make sure that you don't lose that 6 marks. So what we have here x cubed, right, plus x squared minus 2x. See that? And then over x squared minus 1. Now I need you to pay attention, because they are trying to trick you, you know. Everything here is like trying to trick you. Equal to, look at the top, you've got x, x, x repeating. We call it x is common first of all. Don't worry with the cubed, squared and that. So you say, okay, I see x is common. You do what is called factorisation. So when you take out x from the top, it's as good as doing like this. You are like saying, here there are 3 of them. X times x times x, and we are dividing by that x. So over x. You see, when you cancel here, how many are there? X squared here. And then under x squared, it will be x times x. We are dividing by the same x. You cancel, 1 is left. Under 2x, you do the same thing. You are dividing by x, and 2 will be the number there. Are you seeing that? Hence, we have got x squared, right, plus x minus 2. Are you seeing that? And then all over. We continue. At the bottom, they also wanted to trick you at the bottom. Then you ask, what is the trick? What is the trick? Look at this. At the bottom, you are given, because I don't want this to erase, you are given x squared minus 1. If you still remember the difference of 2 squares, put a square here. We call it the difference of 2 squares. You remember it? When you've got like this, because 1 is same as 1 times 1 and x squared, you put 2 brackets like this, if you still remember it. So the first one, you forget about this square. Remove this, you remove this. What do you say? X minus 1. So that's what you write. Alright. So you're like, okay, I write x minus 1. In the second one, you write x plus 1. Difference of 2 squares. Okay. So here you have got x minus 1 in brackets. And here you've got what? X plus 1. And then you close that bracket. You see what they wanted to do? And then, is this done? No. You still have this guy to deal with. And then further, it's called factorization. Now look at this. If we are to factorize this guy, x squared, right, plus x minus 2. I'm not going to do a lot of the method that I use in terms of product sum. I'm just going to simplify it. When you factorize this again, you open two brackets. How do you know that I must factorize? The highest power is this one. When you see that highest power is squared, you know that I must factorize. Even here, the highest power is that, but there are two of them, difference of two squares. So whenever you see x squared, you must know when I'm simplifying that I must factorize. So you open that, you write your x here, you write your x here. Because of the squared, you see this 2, means there are two of them in each bracket. One there, one there. Now the next number to focus on is this 2. Focus on 2. So you ask yourself, how many ways can I get 2? If I two numbers that I can multiply to get 2, it's 1 times 2. There is no way I can get 2 except by saying 1 times 2. So which means here I can put a 1, here I can put a 2. Do you see that? That's the only way I can get this 2. Then I focus on the center here. Let me use the different color. I focus on the center. The positive sign means the bigger number between 1 and 2 must be positive. So there is a 2 positive, this one negative, because there is that negative. Are you with me? And then you're done. So the final answer becomes x minus 1 there. So we write to say equal to x bracket x minus 1 and x plus 2, and then all over x minus 1 and x plus 1. I hope you saw what I did. But you look now, what is similar on top and below? Do you see it? Yes. This one, x minus 1 and x minus 1. Then you write what is remaining. You have got that x here, this one, which is x, and then you've got that one, which is x plus 2. Are you with me? Then all over x plus 1. Yeah, you can put it in brackets, even if you leave it is fine. Then this becomes your final answer. You can't do anything from here. Guys, 6 marks. I think it was worth it. Alright. Go back, revisit it, and check it out. It will help you. Now here, they are saying identify the values. We are now in question number 7. I think these are graphs. Identify the values representing the gradient. There's the keyword gradient and the y-intercept from this equation. Now I want you to remind what is happening. Remember the equation. There is this equation that is common. It's called y is equal to mx plus c. You must always remember this equation. So in this equation, that m is gradient and that c is y-intercept. Alright, so now they gave me an equation, and this is the equation. Look at this. See this one. So they gave us as what? They gave us as y is equal to 2x minus 5. So we just match. You just match. Look at it. There. So this is the what? The gradient. And this is the what? The y-intercept. So you just write those answers. 2 is the gradient. So they are saying gradient is what? Oh, they already given us the word there. So what do you do on gradient? You just write the number. So what's the gradient? It's 2. What's the intercept? Minus 5. Continue this question. Given this, calculate the x-intercept. There they are saying that 7.2. Now when you say this word x-intercept, you must know, write this word x-intercept, and then you must write after that y is equal to 0. If I say to you, write the word y-intercept. When you write that word y-intercept, you must further write x is equal to 0. You must always know they interchange. If you are saying y-intercept, x is equal to 0. If you say x-intercept, y is equal to 0. We'll remember that. Now they are saying here 3y plus 2x is equal to minus 6. I told you they said x-intercept means y is what? 0. So you say 3. So where there is y, what do you put? You put 0 plus 2x. I told you 2x means 2 times x is equal to minus 6. So 3 times 0, this goes off. So what do you have? You have got 2x is equal to negative 6. I told you 2 times x. How do you remove that times? You divide by 2 on both sides. What you do on the left, you do on the right. Then you cancel there. Then you've got your x now is equal to 2 goes into 6 3 times, but it's minus 3. Don't forget that. So guys, that's how you get that answer there. Please go through it, pause the video, and then it will greatly help you. Next one, sketch the graph of what? This one on the set of x's provided. Now you cannot sketch it like that, so let me show you something that is important. When you did the x-intercept, you said y was 0. So what you have got 2 coordinates. When x is, we said what was the value of x? You write it in coordinate form. When x is minus 3, we said y was 0. Remember. I want another one now. I want the y-intercept. Y-intercept. What is the y-intercept? X is equal to 0. The working is still the same. So what I do, I take this one and say 3y plus 2x is equal to minus 6. And I told you y-intercept. What do you say about the y-intercept? X is equal to 0. So I do the same thing I did. 3y plus 2 bracket 0 is equal to minus 6. So I want the point now for y. So 3y, or 3 times y, is equal to, that goes, it's minus 6. How do I remove that 3? It's 3 times y. So divide by 3, divide by 3. So what is my y value? My y value is 3 goes into 6 2 times, which is minus 2. Then I have another coordinate which says when y is 2, x is what? X is equal to 0. Don't forget, x is 0, but you always start with the x coordinate. When x is 0, y is minus 2. When you're drawing a straight line, you need 2 points because it's a straight line. So when you draw a straight line, you need how many points? These 2 points. That's what you need here. Here, for this, that's what you need. So you need to sketch minus 3, 0. So where is x is equal to minus 3? Here. See? And y is 0. There it is. Then you look for another point. Where is x is 0 and y is minus 2? There. X is 0 and y is minus 2. Those are the 2 points. And then what do you do? When you're drawing a straight line, you just do this. Okay, let me make it smaller. This is the graph. Then I need to be careful like how I extend it. Don't go beyond there. Then you write the name of this graph. You saw how I just drew this graph. You just needed those 2 points to say the name of this graph is 3y plus 2x. You need to do this, what I'm doing, is equal to minus 6. That's what you needed. But if you needed to do the table of values, you can do this. Still okay. Where if they taught you the table of values, you go on and do this. Remember the table of values. You go on and do this and do this. It's still correct, but for the sake of time, I'm not gonna do it. And do this and do this. So you start from what? It's always the x value and the y value. So with the x value, you can start me from -2, -1, 0, 1, 2. Are you getting that? But you remember, when x is 0, you have the number here. When x is 0, y is -2. You'll discover that when x is 0 here, you'll get -2. Then you do when x is 1, when x is 1, when x is 2, and so on. And then you take these values, you plot, you'll come up with this. Alright. But now, because of time, I have to move on. There it is, 7.3. Says 3 points A, B, and C are points on a straight line graph. Use the points to determine the equation of a line. 4 marks. Equation of a line. Now, when they say equation of a line, now I told you about the equation of a line. What does it say? Y is equal to mx plus c. This is the equation of a line. We talked about it. But this equation of a line, remember, we said this was what? The gradient. And what was this one? The y, what? Intercept. Okay, where it cuts the y-axis is called the y-intercept. Alright, so now, with that in mind, what we need to do then, we need to get the gradient first. And how do you get the gradient? It's just 2 points that you need. You can take point A, which is -2/3, and then 1. You see that? And then I prefer point C. You can take point B, but too much fractions. I will take C. And then C is 0, 3. Look at these points. Alright. So now I need to find the gradient. So gradient here is equal to, they call it change. Remember? Change in y over what? Change in x. Change in x. That's how you find the gradient, if you still remember. So how do you do the change in y? So you're like, okay, to find the change in y, this is my y and this is my y. This is my x and this is my x. You can give them names. This can be y1, this can be second y2, this can be x1. So x1, y1, x2, y2. The change in y, you can actually use it like this. To say change in y means take y2, say minus y1, subtract those two, and then at the bottom again, take x2, subtract x1. Or you can make it your own. You can say, me, I want to make this one 1 and 2. You can say take y1, take y2, as long as you subtract them. But what you do on top, do at the bottom. Take x1 and subtract x2. You see, it's up to you. But usually you'll see as you go on to other grades, you usually write it like this. So which is equal to, now what is that change? What is y2? What do you see under y2? You see 3. What do you see under y1? You see -1 over, what do you see under x2? You see 0 minus, now 0 minus, look at this. There is another negative there. It's small, -2/3. So don't forget, there is the minus of this, and then there is minus of that. And then the calculator now is going to do the rest. So that is how you find the what? The gradient. So you do this and say 3 minus 1. Are you with me? Over 0 minus, you see, minus, put that and say 2/3. That's how you find the what? The gradient. Equal to, there is the answer 3. So the gradient means is 3. So that's our gradient. Alright. Lastly, we are not done. Y-intercept, we need C. So how do we find the y-intercept? So to find the y-intercept, you choose again any point. I prefer this point which doesn't have C, so it doesn't have fractions. So me, I'll choose point C, which is 0, 3. Then I'll write my equation of a line. What is it? Y is equal to mx plus c. Remember the equation of a line. But I know my m. Remember, gradient means m. Let's go back there. There it is. Gradient means m. If you remember there. See that? Gradient means m. So I come here and say, okay, I know my gradient, which is what? Which is 3. So y is equal to m. That's why I write 3x. You see that? And then plus c. Are you with me? But now I have my point, that point there. Don't mix it. This c is not that c. No. Don't mix it. C here is just a point. Remember, there is a, b, and c. There was a, b, and c. I could have chosen a. I could have chosen b. I could have chosen c. So you focus now on this and say, this is my x value. This is my y value. You come and substitute here. Where there is y, we put 3 is equal to, where there is m, remember we put 3. Where there is x, what do we put? Bracket 0 plus c. I'm substituting. So this was my y value and this was my x value. From where? From here. You see that? You can choose any point. You can choose point A, it will work. You can choose point B, it will work. So now when you solve this, it will be 3 is equal to, this goes 3 times 0 is 0. So 3 is equal to c. Then my final equation is y is equal to, what is our m? Our m is 3, remember. So it's 3x, what is our c? Plus 3. Then this is the equation of a line here. So which was, you work your way all the way here. You work your way. And then you say y is equal to 3x plus 3. You could have used any point while we're working on this. Any point was going to work. It was still going to give us this one, 3x plus 3. Alright. So guys, that is that. And then the last one becoming question 8. Now guys, because of the length of these videos, apologies, I have to do part 3 now. You see, because already the video is very long. I have to do part 3 where I do question 8. And look at question 8, it's still equations because it's gonna take a bit of time. This is gonna be 1 mark, and then there is 6 marks, there is 4 marks, and 5 marks, 16 marks. It's not gonna take long, but watch out for part 3 of this video because of the length. You know, I don't want these videos to be more than 1 hour. So join me again in part 3 where I just do question number 8. And as I said, if you want the distinction, you will stay tuned. If you just want a funny mark, it's up to you. Remember, the choices you make are the results that you're going to get. Whatever you sow, you reap. Cause and effect, you know, it's the reality of life. Whatever you put in is whatever you get out. So if I were you, I would stay tuned for part number 3 where I see how these can be done. It's equations. They are not complicated, but you just need to do a few things. Just tweak a few things, a few tricks, and then you're gonna be done. Alright, so we have done up to question 7.3. We've come to the end of our lesson. Thank you.